Hi, I'm Kimberly. Welcome to As I've Seen It. Programming note, there's a lot going on. So this video will be about domestic stuff, for the most part, and the next video will cover international stuff, because Madam Unelected Theresa May has lost her damn mind. I warn you now, this may be the crankiest video I have ever recorded because I have been up most of the night. And I've been up most of the night because I'm in Europe at the moment, and I've been watching the developments from the States. Cranky also because I don't usually say I told you so, but I'm saying I told you so. All of you people who couldn't figure out that Hillary and Trump were not the same kind of politician. Do you get it now? All of you people who ignored what that fool was saying on the campaign trail, all the horrible things he said he would do to our fellow Americans. Do you get it now? I was up half the night because that's how long it took over here for a federal judge to shut down one of his executive orders, and only part of it. She basically scooped in and tried to rescue the people who were being held illegally, I might add, in airports around the country. Because, let's face it, not Trumpty Dumpty, Steve Bannon decided that they would go ahead with the Muslim ban, even though they don't have the cojones to call it that. It's a Muslim ban. And people who were in flight to the United States, people with actual valid visas, people with green cards, people with permanent residency in the United States who have a legal right to be there, were detained in airports around the United States. So a federal judge had to scoop in, and let's hear it for the heroes at the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. As soon as they found out there were people detained at the airports, lawyers from the ACLU went to airports around the nation to represent people. They filed a lawsuit immediately, and that's what the judge was responding to. So, as news spread, our fellow Americans jumped up and went to those airports. There were already protesters there when Michael Moore put out the call to say, I'm going to JFK, come join me. Linda Sarsour said, come to O'Hare. So thousands and thousands of our fellow Americans showed up and did the right thing and told Trumpty Dumpty and his friends that this is not American. It's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and we won't stand for it. This is not our country. So for all of you who couldn't figure it out, the grown-ups are still around, and the grown-ups are stepping in to save the country. And it's not just the protesters. For those of you who've been whining about the Democrats who've been elected, Democrats in elected office, guess what? They showed up yesterday. They showed up throughout the night. John Lewis, civil rights hero. Look at this man sitting in an airport in Atlanta to make sure the Iranian people who had green cards could get back into the country. Here is Governor Terry McAuliffe from Virginia in the airport, helping to get people into the country. This is Senator Elizabeth Warren at Boston's Logan Airport, helping to get people who have the right to be there into the country. In New York, several elected leaders showed up, and it took Governor Andrew Cuomo to make the Port Authority police let protesters continue to ride the air train to get to JFK to protest. At the airport in Philadelphia, Senator Bob Casey left a white tie event, showed up in his tuxedo to stand up for people coming into the country. This was not the first time since January 20th, a day that will live in infamy. This was not the first time that Americans stepped up and did the right thing. Several months ago, several months before the election, one of my European colleagues asked me, so what would happen if Donald Trump won? And I do believe I did a spit take and spit out whatever I was drinking. And I said, Americans will stand up and protest. I said, Americans will fight this every step of the way. And I am happy to say my fellow Americans have not disappointed. It started on Inauguration Day. And we learned that day that delicate little Trumpty Dumpty can be goaded with a photograph. Let's hear it for the National Park Service that gave us the photographs that we could put side by side to show him that he's not as popular as he thinks he is. He doesn't have a mandate. He thinks he does, but he doesn't have a mandate. This is the kind of crowd you get when you have a mandate. This is what the parade route looks like when you have a mandate. This is what it looks like when you don't. The next day, a date that I hope will live forever in victory, the Women's March. The global, incredible, massive Women's March. Women from around the world marched and spoke out in protest of that misogynist dinosaur who now inhabits the White House. Whether it was Sydney or Melbourne or London or Paris, the rally in New York was massive. The rally in Washington, D.C. dwarfed the inauguration crowd. Could easily have been 2 to 3 times the inauguration crowd. So not only did those photos make himself visibly furious, they made him start spewing out more lies. His first tweet was, well, why didn't those people vote? Well, those people did vote because you didn't win the popular vote. So as soon as we reminded him that he didn't win the popular vote, what did he do? He perpetuated the lie. Well, I would have won the popular vote if 3 to 5 million illegals hadn't voted. No evidence, no proof, not true, been debunked over and over and over and over again, but he spewed it. And now he spews it from the White House, so the press has to pay attention. So all of that happened the first 3-4 days. Then he started doing other stupid stuff. And by the way, those of you who think Hillary is the same as Donald, you really think Hillary would have reinstated the global gag rule on abortion? Do you think Hillary would have threatened aid organizations for even talking about abortion, talking about birth control? Then Donald got super stupid and went after the sanctuary cities. And for the most part, the sanctuary cities just clapped back and said, we'll see you in court. Miami-Dade folded. Not quite sure why their mayor folded. Basically just chickened out. But New York isn't having it. Los Angeles, not having it. Chicago, San Francisco, not having it. Then came the stupidest move of all. Throughout the campaign, throughout the primaries and the general election, the Trump apologists kept saying, oh, he would never institute a Muslim ban. That's just rhetoric. Oh, he would never do something illegal like that. It's just talk. You're kind of like his boy talk, as Melania said. Boy talk, just locker room, boy talk. Well, guess what? The Muslim ban wasn't just talk. With Steve Bannon, who overruled Homeland Security on part of this, he decided we're going to ban refugees and people from 7 nations: Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Syria, Somalia, Libya, Yemen. Most of the 9/11 attackers came from Saudi Arabia. Notice Saudi is not on that list. None of the countries where Trump either has a business or has potential business ties are on that list. The countries that provide far many more terrorists, not on the list. Earlier this week, Trumpty Dumpty also hinted at going back into Iraq. During his interview with ABC's David Muir, he actually said something about another possibility of taking the oil. We know that he's interested in putting boots on the ground in Syria. His fight with ISIS, he wants to take it to ISIS, and ISIS can't wait. They have wanted American troops on the ground in Syria for years. Barack Obama refused to give it to them. Oh, by the way, all of you who talk smack about Obama, all of you who decided that he wasn't doing enough, all of you who decided that he wasn't good enough, are you missing him yet? This fight is not over. It is nowhere near over. It's going to be a fight for a while. So those of you who sat on the sidelines whining, those of you who couldn't make a decision, those of you who couldn't see this monster or wouldn't see this monster for what he is, are you there yet? Thanks for watching.